he was in a relationship, and I asked him whether he missed his ex because he was telling me that the relationship was really good and he tried a few times and it didn't work out. And he felt that that would have been the relationship because people felt that they were going to get married and potentially have children. And he's currently in a new relationship. And he goes, yeah, I think about it all the time. And it made me think to myself that I think maybe based on some of my recent thoughts and recent opinions that, no, I heard someone say, that was it. I heard someone say recently, people out here dating, etc., etc., that the one has already come and gone, depending on what your age you are. And I think you need to acknowledge that.
Me, you, and the driver, we gotta get this photo together. We gotta get this selfie.
Oh, open it. Have you got a bag? A bag for fucking what? We grocery shopping or something? We doubling up on these bags?
I was like, wow, women are incredible.
I've been out here every single weekend since I've been doing this, picking up people who have had amazing nights.
Cough, mum, I'm sleeping. I'm staying here. Leave me alone.
I mean, I've always said this anyway, that this thing has killed me, but I can see I've aged. I look at my beard, mad grey hairs. It is mad.
I'm just sitting in my car. I was just having some random thoughts, actually, and I've been meaning to voice these interactions over the past couple of weeks. And I'm going to name the dates. Where are we? We are in June 2025, because sometimes I release these voice notes a little bit later than when I record them. Sometimes a few months. I think in some cases there could be even like a year in between. And sometimes I release them at different times. So sometimes they're not necessarily in chronological order. But enough of the hoo-ha and of the nonsense. I was having some deep thoughts literally just now, and it just brought me to a point where I was thinking about what a guy told me, let's say on the weekend. What he told me on the weekend. So I don't know why we found ourselves talking about relationships. He was telling me that he's in a different season in his life where he's now going to a lot of stag do's, weddings, etc., etc. And he was saying, not that he's not that type of dude, but he doesn't follow that type of chronological order. And if things are not right, he's just not doing it. So he doesn't feel forced or pressured into getting married, or he doesn't feel forced or pressured into having children. If it's not right, it's just not right. It doesn't mean that he's not happy with his partner, but if it's not right, it's just not right. And then somewhere in there, I think we were talking about our experiences. Somewhere in there, we were talking about experiences. I wanted to backtrack a little bit, but I'll say this and potentially backtrack. And I asked him whether, let me go a little bit further back. No, I'll say it anyway. So I asked him, he was in a relationship, and I asked him whether he missed his ex because he was telling me that the relationship was really good and he tried a few times and it didn't work out. And he felt that that would have been the relationship because people felt that they were going to get married and potentially have children. And he's currently in a new relationship. And he goes, yeah, I think about it all the time. And it made me think to myself that I think maybe based on some of my recent thoughts and recent opinions that, no, I heard someone say, that was it. I heard someone say recently, people out here dating, etc., etc., that the one has already come and gone, depending on what your age you are. And I think you need to acknowledge that. And I think that's the reason why I asked him the question. I don't know if I gave him that context, but I was telling him, adding a bit more context, I was telling him that I met a guy, I've done this voice note before, and I think I've released it, where a guy said to me that he feels that deep down inside whether this is the relationship you should be in terms of marriage, kids, etc., etc. He said he had this nagging thought. Nagging is the wrong word, but he said randomly on a Tuesday morning he could be having a coffee on the train and he'd be asking himself the question, should I be in this relationship? And he ignored it, would ask his friends as to should he be feeling this way, and they'll say, nah, it's perfectly normal to be nervous, this, that, and the third before getting married. And he said now that Disney feeling in terms of being in love and being happy, etc., etc., is the one that he's going for, because he said it's very expensive. You ultimately have to start again. You could be in a 10-year relationship and be in the wrong relationship. It costs. And he's not necessarily talking about financial. He's like, you have to go all the way back and start again in terms of finding someone. But with that being said, I want to move on to another rider that I spoke with recently. But that's mad, by the way, that you can be in a relationship and know this is not the relationship that is probably for you. In fact, there's probably loads of people in that situation, actually. But you can be in a relationship and still be thinking about your ex. Anyway, I was talking to I don't want to say where he's from, actually. Yeah, I don't want to say where he's from. But I was talking with a guy. He got in my car and he goes, "Oh, these cue cards are really cool. Like, let me pick a card." He picked one. I can't remember what it was, but the second one was, if your girlfriend or fiance, imagine this, it depends. Anyway, if your partner, let me say, took, I think it was a couple grand. Anyway, just took some money from you before your wedding, would you still get married to her? I can't remember what we both said, alright? Yeah, I actually can't remember what we both said, actually. I think we said it depends on what it was, etc., etc. But he was younger than me, and he started speaking from experience, and I think he said he was married. He wasn't married for long. He was married for, I think, 2 years, and then got divorced. But he was very open and honest and said that he felt he lacked masculinity, not even maturity, masculinity, in terms of, I need to be not careful with how I word this, actually, but I want to use the right words. The example he gave me, I might not find the right words, but hopefully you understand this. The example he gave me was his wife, could be crying and he wouldn't really be attentive, and it'll be almost like, I'm going to kind of like exaggerate, like kind of like pattern up. Do you know what I mean? Like, sort yourself out. Do you know what I mean? And in time, he realized, like, that was such a poor approach. Do you know what I mean? It's such a really, really poor approach. And given time in that relationship, obviously the relationship failed because he got divorced. Lord have mercy. Given time, the relationship failed and he got divorced. But there were times where he was saying, like, he said he realized he was saying so many stupid things, which things you can't take back, such as, "Oh, I didn't even want to get married in the first place," in terms of feeling pressured. And there was other things he was saying as well. And he realized that you really have to be very careful in terms of, being careful is the wrong word, but you need to be careful what you're saying to your woman. And actually, as a man, you do need to lead in that relationship. And there's some things in some respect that are better kept to yourself, and not from a detrimental or sinister way, a sinister way. But in terms of learning to protect and actually love your partner, and these are things that he failed to do. I don't know if the last part made sense, but I guess what he was trying to say, he failed to really love his partner and really be loving, and be caring at certain points. And by the time, there were times when he would call off the relationship, "Oh, I need a break, blah, 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 blah." By the time he said the penny dropped, he wanted to mend the relationship and it was all over. She went on it. Sad. Very sad story. And it was one that he felt, I don't want to say it's one that got away because he got married to her, but he wished he was more mature. And I guess he wished maybe he had more life experience in some respect. But it made me think, I don't know who I was listening to who said that the one has already come and gone. That was mad, because it made me think, maybe really think as to some of my experiences with women, like, and I gotta tell you this, like, because I'm not that individual who's going to be chatting to bare girls in a dance or all that type of stuff. We've all got experiences and all seen people and been with people, but I'm not that guy who's going to be chatting and just constantly drawing girl and all that type of stuff. So it made me think, have I missed opportunities to talk to women who I probably would have collaborated with, probably would have just what's the word I'm looking for? When things are just amazing. I can't find the word, but do you know what I mean? Have I missed those opportunities? Or have there been opportunities such as, with the guy who got married, I explained to him there's certain things I wish I'd done better in my relationships or in my relationship. Do you know what I mean? As to, I don't want to delve, actually. But there's certain things I wish I'd done better. I think I was a good partner, to be fair. And to be fair, she was a good girlfriend as well. I'm speaking to my recent one. But things don't work out. Things don't work out. But it made me think. No, sorry, not made me think. I was explaining those things to him anyway. Anyway, life is a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. Anyway, love your partner, learn to be mature, work things out. Yeah, work things out if you can. And in some respect, take a deep think if you're single, yeah, or even in a relationship. Has the one come and gone, or is the one here? And if so, look after her or look after him. You know, I feel obviously because I'm a man, I'm speaking from a male perspective, but like, you know, women, look after your man. If he's going above and beyond, you know, if he's doing things that are attentive, etc., look after him. And likewise, men, look after your women, man. You know, I know they say there's not many good women out there, but I guess the same thing speaks true to men too, or maybe speaks to people who oh my god, we're aligned to. There's another word we're in tune with and stuff like that. Anyway, I don't want to be poetic. Let me love you and leave you, and hopefully I'll drop this. I'm not going to say when I'll drop this. Anyway, let me love you and leave you.